This train is one of about 35 that travels every day through the city of Springfield.
I arrange my schedule around it.
Yeah, freight trains that, you don't know if they're going to sit there for a minute or keep going.
Yeah.
In 10 years, freight and passenger rail traffic through Springfield could double to more than 70 trains a day. One reason is Union Pacific Railroad is building a new intermodal rail yard outside Joliet and expects business to grow. Secondly, Illinois is planning a high-speed rail line that would travel right through Springfield. Thus, increased rail traffic is coming to Springfield. As a community, we cannot stop it, but we can decide how best to accommodate it. That's the purpose of a new study sponsored by the City of Springfield and Sangamon County called the Springfield Railroad Corridor Study. The Illinois Department of Transportation is funding it. This study is separate from the high-speed rail project.
This is a project that could change Springfield's transportation future for generations to come. Probably the most important project in Springfield since the interstate highway system was built around the city.
Railroads are nothing new to Springfield. The first one arrived in the mid-1800s and transformed the city into a center for trade and commerce. At the end of the century, Union Station became the hub of passenger rail traffic, serving several railroads. Now in the 21st century, the industries that relied heavily on rail, such as mining and manufacturing, have declined significantly. People travel mostly by car or plane, and almost all products sold or used in Springfield move by truck. Currently, there are 3 major rail lines or corridors that travel north-south through Springfield. 3rd Street, owned by Union Pacific Railroad, 10th Street, owned by Norfolk Southern, and 19th, owned by Canadian National. The study area is bounded by Sangamon Avenue on the north and Stanford Avenue on the south. All 3 corridors create physical and psychological barriers in their neighborhoods. Plus, they contain 73 at-grade crossings, which create traffic congestion and safety issues. While several previous studies have looked at these issues, the Springfield Railroad Corridor Study is different. It will follow federal guidelines, which require evaluating a range of feasible alternatives that address increased train traffic, congestion, and safety hazards.
We know we're going to be looking at least 2 alternatives. We're going to be looking at the option of double tracking the 3rd Street corridor, the UP tracks, and running their additional traffic pretty much where it is now, but on 2 tracks with more trains. We'll also look at the option of moving that UP traffic over onto the 10th Street corridor and possibly even moving the 19th Street traffic over onto the 10th Street corridor, building more tracks there and accommodating all of our rail traffic in one spot.
The study team will also look at other reasonable alternatives, such as locating rail traffic out and around the city. If a corridor ends up being moved, the study team will also look at ways to redevelop and beautify the abandoned right-of-way. What also makes the Springfield Railroad Corridor Study different from previous ones is that it is an Environmental Impact Statement, or EIS. This means that each alternative will be evaluated for its social, economic, and environmental impacts. These impacts include costs, benefits, the effects on residences, businesses, and historic and archaeological sites, noise and vibration, floodplains, endangered species, and potential hazardous waste sites.
Talk about environmental impact study, the best part about it is it takes a look at all the options. And we have several options here in Springfield. Doesn't mean one's better than the other, but at least we're going to get a third-person point of view that's going to take a look at it, find out what's best, make a recommendation what's best to the entire city, but also at the same time it's going to be having our citizens weigh in on it, what they think is best.
Briefly, our presentation objectives here this afternoon are to explain the Railroad Corridor Study to you in a little bit more detail and what we plan on doing in the next year and a half.
Another requirement of an EIS is public involvement. The study team is actively engaging the Springfield community. We are making presentations to various organizations and community groups and working with 4 advisory groups, including business owners, medical officials, community leaders, and public officials. The study team will also host public open houses where residents can learn about the study and give their input.
I'm glad the study is happening, and I'm glad that there's a process for communication from all the levels of the community, because that hasn't been possible in the past for a variety of reasons.
This could very well be the element that will bring Springfield together, whereby it will not be an east side, west side, but it will be Springfield.
There are many ways for you to get involved in the study and to give your input. You can call our information line at 1-877-552-5505. Email us at info@springfieldrailroad.com. Visit our website at www.springfieldrailroad.com. Invite the study team to present at your community or organizational meeting, or attend one of our public meetings.
If you don't get involved, it's going to be change that's going to happen that you didn't participate in to help direct that change.
The Springfield Railroad Corridor Study will conclude with the selection of a preferred alternative. The final decision on an alternative will not be left to the City of Springfield nor the county or state, but instead will be made by the Federal Railroad Administration.
It's important to keep in mind that we can't really force the railroads to do anything that they don't want to do. They're in a position as independent companies that they can run additional rail traffic down their line. So any alternative that we recommend would need to be one that the railroads are willing to go along with.
The Springfield Railroad Corridor Study will be completed by mid-2011.